Whoa. God. Yeah. Gold frames. Switch lanes. Batman. Bruce Wayne. And I was like, feeling like I'm Bruce Wayne. Young spit the words hot like two flames. Front night ain't really how we do things. Niggas ain't got time for all of the mood swings. Oh Lord, he done been here before. Know the city so big and take you on a tour. Money so big, can buy any store. If you want more, supply you some more. Take you on a trip, leave your bags at the door. Said that she let them well, not anymore. Fuck a nigga floating on so high that I saw. Ain't shit new, man, it seem made me bored. Make a king mad, be surprised when he roar. Can a young nigga make money anymore? Throw the money up, watch the money hit the floor. Niggas say they hit and watch jazz hit the door. Fresh Prince, nah, I really how to feel. How to feel, how to feel, how to feel. Be around motherfuckers so real. Kryptonite is love when it can't get you killed. Ask you again, just tell me how I feel. That's on my chest, so she saying like still. I'm like still, like still, like still. She like still, like still, like still. That night, I'm feeling like Bruce Wayne. Young spit the words hot like two flames. Niggas ain't got time for all the mood swings. Frontin' on the nigga, is that how we do things? Oh, work. Look, do you remember me? Rap down, magician, nicks and remedies. A metaphor, elixir from within a dream. With the sleep, woke up and I'm still in a dream. Being great since the basics of many things. I fall short when looking at my enemies. Try to grade it, your way in my memories. Welcome to the land of the wrong way to get into me. Can't stand still on islands of complicity. You looking at the nigga that you wish you could pretend to be. But I'm not really the kid's not mine. But you gon' remember me. Yeah. And I'm feeling like Bruce Wayne. Young spit the words out like two flames. Front now, they ain't really how we do things. Niggas ain't got time for all of the mood swings. No sir. Yeah. Do you remember me? Rap down, magician, mix and remedies. A metaphor, elixir from within a dream. With the sleep, woke up and I'm still in a dream. Yeah. Whoa. God. Yeah. Gold frames. Switch lanes. Batman. Bruce Wayne. And I was like, feeling like I'm Bruce Wayne. Young spit the words hot like two flames. Front night ain't really how we do things. Niggas ain't got time for all of the mood swings. Oh Lord, he done been here before. Know the city so big can take you on a tour. Money so big, can buy any store. If you want more, supply you some more. Take you on a trip, leave your bags at the door. Said that she let them well, not anymore. Fuck a nigga floating on so high that I saw. Ain't shit new, man, it seem made me bored. Make a king mad, be surprised when he roar. Can a young nigga make money anymore? Throw the money up, watch the money hit the floor. Niggas say they hit and watch jazz hit the door. Fresh Prince, nah, I really how to feel. How to feel, how to feel, how to feel. Be around motherfuckers so real. Kryptonite is love when it can't get you killed. Ask you again, just tell me how I feel. That's on my chest, so she saying like still. I'm like still, like still, like still. She like still, like still, like still. That night, I'm feeling like Bruce Wayne. Young spit the words hot like two flames. Niggas ain't got time for all the mood swings. Frontin' on the nigga, is that how we do things? Oh, work. Look, do you remember me? Rap down, magician, nicks and remedies. A metaphor, elixir from within a dream. With the sleep, woke up and I'm still in a dream. Being great since the basics of many things. I fall short when looking at my enemies. Try to grade it, your way in my memories. Welcome to the land of the wrong way to get into me. Can't stand still on islands of complicity. You looking at the nigga that you wish you could pretend to be. But I'm not really the kid's not mine. But you gon' remember me. Yeah. And I'm feeling like Bruce Wayne. Young spit the words out like two flames. Front now, they ain't really how we do things. Niggas ain't got time for all of the mood swings. No sir. Yeah. Do you remember me? Rap down, magician, mix and remedies. A metaphor, elixir from within a dream. With the sleep, woke up and I'm still in a dream. Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa!
Yeah.
What's up,
Gold
everybody?
Switch
It's your boy, Jay,
Batman.
for
Bruce Wayne.
The
I was
Dub.
like,
What's
feeling
up?
like
How
I'm
y'all
Bruce
doing
Wayne.
today?
Young spit the
It's your
words
boy
out
Jay
like
for
two
The Dub.
flames. Front now, they ain't really how we do things. Niggas
It
ain't got time
is
for all of the mood swings.
Thursday,
He done been
this September the 3rd. I was about to say December. You ever notice how all the months kind of sound the same? September, December, October, November. Like, I mean, October doesn't sound like the other ones, but y'all get where I was coming from with that. Like I said, what's up, everybody? It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Not a Saturday morning. What am I talking about? I'm all over the place. I can't believe myself. Like, it's ridiculous. But no, what's up, everybody? It's a beautiful Thursday morning. It's September the 3rd. Today, got an amazing show planned. We've been talking about a lot of like depressing things and like, well, I don't want to say depressing things as much as just like, you know, too much real life stuff and not enough like kind of fantasy, I guess. I don't know. But I mean on a serious note, before we get on, you know, some of the funner topics and things like that, I definitely wanted to talk about something that's a little serious. I saw this on Facebook yesterday. One of my friends had pointed this out. I didn't know this or anything, and this is something that has to do a lot with the state that I live in. I live in California, for those of you who don't know. But yeah, yesterday I saw on Facebook that they didn't everybody's using the phrase that they legalized being a pedophile, whereas that's not the phrase that we should be using or how we should explain it. Basically what they did, well, to point out what it is they changed the verbiage basically in point blank period, but they changed the way that you would look at it in a sense of, like I said, just being a pedophile. They changed how you're classified, I guess. So pedophilia, like I said, is still a crime, and you know, like being attracted to kids and acting on that thought is definitely still a crime and not something that should be taken lightly by any means. Anybody who is, you know, within this realm of people definitely should seek out help. And ultimately, that's what they were trying to do by changing the classification. So what they did was change the name of a pedophile. So you no longer you're supposed to call them a pedophile. You're supposed to call them, well, actually, I guess to no. Well, actually, no. What I was gonna say was they changed it for people who are not acting on that. They're actually just they changed the name for people who know they have this sickness, I guess you can say. You know, they created an avenue for those people to come out and openly say, yes, I do have this sickness and I need help. So what it is they changed the classification of those people who know like what they're thinking is wrong and want to rectify the situation by getting help. So those people aren't classified as pedophiles as much as they're classified as it's like a sexual orientation now. So those people aren't classified as pedophiles as much as they're classified as what was the word or term that they used? I think it was just a adult attracted to children or something of that nature. Something that still didn't sound good by any means. It just sounded better than saying pedophile. But yeah, they changed it and classified it as such. And basically, like I said, after reading a bunch about it, they did it so that people who are sick and know that they're sick and they actively think about these. Oh my goodness. People who are actively thinking about the or who are actively having these sick thoughts can go and create, you know, they can create focus groups and anonymous groups for those type of people so they can go and, you know, actively get the help and be in a group of people who have the same thoughts and aren't acting on them. I'm sorry, no, it wasn't like I'm forgetting what I was saying or anything like that. I just wanted to put a pause right there so people can understand that, like I said, this is for people who aren't acting on these awful thoughts that they're having. Like I said, this is an avenue to create it so those people can get the help. And like I said, ultimately, like I promote on my show a lot is trying to get people help, or at least helping people out. The people who know that they need help. There's some people out there who don't feel like they need help and they don't want help, and those are the people we ultimately need to be locking up in a sense, um, unless they're really really sick. And but to the subject matter we're talking about, like I said, just no, those people just need to be locked up. Like I said, keep our children safe. uh, Let them keep their innocence as long as possible, because the second you rob a child of their innocence is the second that all life's problems tend to start falling on them. And like I said, it's not fun. It's not enjoyable, and definitely for a child in their innocent stages, it's not something you want for them. So, like I said, the when they changed that classification to make pedophiles classified as or pedophilia classified as like a sexual orientation, and classify those people as adults attracted to children. Like I said, it is definitely a sick thought. And the fact that LA or California has done this isn't the most positive thing, because, like I pointed out to the people who pointed out to me after reading extensively on the subject, like I said, they're trying to create a lane so these pedophiles and, child attracted adults can find a lane to get help. But ultimately, when you do something like this, you make a change like this, it really dampens things, especially on the legal end. If it wasn't already, if the system didn't already not work for everything else, and especially in this particular situation, if it didn't already work, like, this just opens up a lane for people to find another way that they can say, oh, oh, I'm just sick, I just need to get help, and they, go to rehab or whatever, and they get re-released back into the public instead of going and doing jail time for an actual crime that they've, blatantly committed. Granted, there's tons of people who get falsely accused for rape and stuff like that, and there's particular laws in Texas to protect some of those things, like, children who grow up together and have a slight age gap, but they're still in a relationship together. Like I said, there's laws put in place to protect, kids like that, like an 18-year-old who had the same girlfriend all the way through high school. Note, he was probably, like, when they got together, he was 16 and his girlfriend might be 14. No, he comes of age of 18. His girlfriend is all of the age of 16. Like I said, they put laws in place in Texas and states like that to protect those kids, and to try and stop from people being falsely accused of rape and stuff like that. But note, in cases like this, and we're talking about pedophiles and people with very, very huge age gaps, opposed to, like I said, like this situations that I just pointed out. Like I said, there is so many. I'm just having so many different conflicting thoughts about this situation and this subject matter, just for the simple fact that, like I said, talking about the people with the small age gap and growing up with each other and so on and so forth with that. Like I said, there's laws put in place to help protect those people, but in a lot of cases, there are people who are falsely accused and falsely, you know, what is gone put through the system and labeled as a pedophile, or labeled as, something so negative. In a sense, like I said, this will ultimately kind of help some of those people, but like I said, it's creating an avenue to find a gray area and something that is ultimately just wrong. Like I said, we shouldn't have our kids out here subject to these type of situations, or just like I said, just ultimately like making other people uncomfortable and putting people in a place where they don't know how to feel about something. Because ultimately, like I said, pedophilia and all that stuff, that's a very sensitive topic. That's kind of why I wanted to start off the show with it just a little bit, just to get people in here interacted and people to think about something. Honestly, when I saw the conversation, it definitely attracted me, and I was to what it was going on, because like I said, I like to point out the facts and things of that nature. So I wanted to make sure that the people that were, pointing this out and talking about it and how they're talking about it, that they were speaking facts. I don't want them to be out here just speaking out information that's not true or anything. So I had to go and look it up for myself, and I figured I do have a better way of explaining things sometimes to certain people, just because I feel like I can view from a lot of different people's perspectives. So like I said, just to give a brief little summary, little 4-minute summary or whatever of what I was just saying in the last 10 minutes or so. Basically, the state of California has changed the laws around, or I wouldn't necessarily say the laws, because they did not change the fact that it is illegal still for a grown-up to have sexual encounters with a child. Do not get that wrong by any means. Hey, what's up? What's up? How are you doing? Appreciate you for stopping in. This is my show. But yes, they have definitely made it, kept it illegal for those things to happen. Like I said, adults cannot have sexual relations with children, but California did change it so that those people are not classified as pedophiles anymore. They changed it, so now they're classified as adults attracted to children or something like that. Like I said, I might have the exact phrasing wrong, but that is in a nutshell what it is. And like I said, it's supposed to create an avenue for people who are sick and have these thoughts towards children to get help. But ultimately, like I said, it just creates confusion and gray areas so that people can not have to suffer the same consequences that they used to whenever getting caught for getting caught with a underage child and things of that nature, like I said. But I don't want to talk about this all morning, honestly, because I don't want to talk about super depressing facts and stuff like that. But that is something that caught my interest yesterday and definitely had me thinking, and I had to go and look up what it is exactly that they were, was done and stuff like that, because the conversation that people were having yesterday was under the assumption that they changed the law completely to make it okay for adults to have relations with children, and like as if pedophiles were just allowed to walk around freely without any type of consequences, just kissing on children and loving on children in public. But no, that's not the case, and I don't want anybody to think that they're out here just letting pedophiles run free. Granted, if somebody is a pedophile, they have to register under a registry. If they live in your neighborhood, you should be able to look it up. You can look up pedophiles in my area, and it should pinpoint exactly which houses and things like that those people live at, and so on. But as I was saying, there's a lot to that conversation that a lot of people don't understand and stuff like that. Hello, what's up, Taylor? How are you doing? Appreciate you stopping in today. We're just talking about how, right now we're currently talking about how California has changed the classification for people who who are pedophiles. Basically, they changed the classification, saying that those people are now classified as people who are in under the sexual orientation of adults attracted to children, which ultimately is disgusting, and that is not okay. And like I said, I just wanted to educate people a little bit and let them know that they didn't change the law saying it is okay for people to have sex with children and stuff like that. They just changed the classification and change it to a sexual orientation, just like anybody can. We have so many different sexual orientations and stuff like that. Yes, I appreciate all the love. Thank you so much. But we're going to, like I said, I was just giving you a brief moment of to get caught up with what it was we've been talking about this morning. We're going to move on to other topics as the day goes on. Note, this is my daily show. It's called The Return. You can check us out over on Twitch. You can check me out on Facebook. You can check me out here on Instagram, and you can check me out also on YouTube at JAY4 THADUB. Yes, that's J for the dub. Like I said, I'm streaming currently right now on all those major platforms. If you check me out over on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, the video quality is so much better because we're rolling at a 4K quality, and we have so much other cool stuff that happens over there. But I appreciate y'all for stepping in here on Instagram. That's a huge part. But as things roll on and we keep on going, kind of a little bit on topic, and I was talking about this earlier this week and stuff like that, but to the point of talking about how they changed the classification of pedophiles and stuff like that in California. And earlier this week, that was last week, we were talking about the WEP song and Cardi B and how people feel like that is degrading to women. Ultimately, that's not degrading to women. For one, it's a woman singing the song. I'm pretty sure she didn't write the song, but if she wanted to refuse to put the song out there or at least dance into the song, because she does a lot of publicity for all of her stuff, she could easily have not done it if she felt like it was degrading to him. But obviously, Cardi B is one of those people who takes her sexuality and uses it to empower herself. So it's that's a huge thing. And like I said, with that, these are two different ends of the spectrum as far as, you're thinking of sexuality and things like that. So it's a very huge thing. But the reason I was bringing up Cardi B is because last week we talked about how Cardi B openly admitted and has said that, she has done things in the past to people for financial gain. And my brother pointed out that he feels like Cardi B should be labeled as a predator. And we were kind of talking about that in the sense of like, well, if Cardi B is a predator and, we have all these other like actual predators who aren't openly admitting it and saying stuff like that, like we came to the conclusion that Cardi B shouldn't necessarily be labeled as a predator so much as just somebody who... Well, actually, I don't think we actually came to a full conclusion on what we should classify Cardi B as. But with that being said, does anybody have a full-on classification they would say Cardi B falls under? I do have quite a few people here watching and stuff like that. It says, yeah, is it okay to be attracted to a child and not live out the attraction? Yeah, that's basically what they basically changed the law to, so that it is okay for you to be attracted to a child and not live out that attraction. Yes, that's why they've created the avenue, or that's why they've changed the classification and made it a sexual orientation and not like a just titling or classification of your life or whatever. But but like I was saying, I was trying to get into Cardi B and talk about how we were saying Cardi B was kind of like a predator in a sense. But yeah, and incorporating that into the whole thing of like I was talking about. It's funny because there's so many people who easily get classified as a predator or things like that. Actually, no, I won't say that because that kind of comes back and seems like I'm trying to defend people with hold on one moment. I'm getting a phone call. Yo, I am sick and tired of people calling me, telling me my warranty is going to expire. Yeah, no, I got a phone call. I apologize. Please, I'm sorry for that. But yeah, like I was saying, people, my brother's basically trying to put Cardi B in the category of pedophile and stuff like that, or actually a predator because she preyed on people for financial gain and stuff like that. And to this point, had Cardi B actually been prosecuted and stuff like that for what it is that she had admitted to, would she have like fallen under the category of like a pedophile in a sense, or like because she's preying on people? But then again, a pedophile is for somebody who's preying on younger people. Granted, sometimes these rich kids. Actually, you know what's funny? That now I'm bringing this up and just talking about it and kind of thinking it out a little bit. You think about it. Sometimes the money can buy you almost anything you want. If you have the money to do it, then you ultimately can. Hey, what's up? If you have the money to do something, then you ultimately can make almost anything happen around you. I know there's plenty of 16-year-olds and like like Little Uzi and all these people who were super young whenever they came into their fame. NLE Choppa. I need to listen to the interview and WAP song. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I don't suggest actually going to listen to the song, but definitely go look up the lyrics for it. If you don't want to hear the vulgarness, you can at least read it. I mean, it's quite interesting how vulgar it gets. And for it to particularly be a radio played song, it's that's quite funny how it's so vulgar. But to the point of what I was saying, um, it's crazy how um uh, 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 oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, but I lost my concentration for a second. Let me take a sip of my coffee. I'm gonna give While I take this sip of coffee, I'm gonna give y'all a second for everything to kind of catch up. Everybody, if you have a comment or something you're trying to say, go ahead and type up your comment and everything and put it in the comments so I can read it while I take this sip of coffee. This way we can kind of be on the same page. Thank you, Taylor. You're cracking me out with your comments. You said take that sip. I feel like that was way more than a sip, but thank you everybody who's coming in right now and watching the return. This is something we do every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Come back tomorrow and check the conversation we have tomorrow. But we're still going. We're still rolling. I just had to take a quick second, get my mind back and tuned into the lane that we were in. You want to stay in your lane. This way you don't crash into the other cars. But like I was saying, yeah, it was, but well needed. Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, if we labeled Cardi B and stuff as a predator just because of her openly admitting that with oh yeah, no, I remember exactly where I was now. Like I said, if you have money and like I said with Lil Uzi and all these people and their new profound fame, like NLE Choppa, perfect example. NLE Choppa is all of 16, maybe 17 years old. He's coming to quite a bit of money with his new profound fame, and his music it's making its way out there to people. He's very up and coming, and I can see him being one of the newest mainstream artists that's out right now. No, with his age, and his new found fame, they're probably asking him to go to particular places, strip clubs, all that type of stuff. Granted, we're in COVID, so nobody's going to the club and doing all that type of stuff. But with that in place. And like I'm saying, there's plenty of times where somebody like NLE Choppa could be easily put into the situation and or place where somebody like Cardi B can definitely take advantage of him. At that point, at the young age that he's at, of course, it would not feel like he's being taken advantage of. We've also talked about stuff like that and talked about how, like, even being at the age of being sexually active and slightly feel like you're willing to do these sexual things for people who are much older than you, but in reality, that person who's much older than you is actually using their wisdom and stuff to manipulate you to do whatever it is that they're asking. So, like I said, at that point, that makes that person a predator. So, with that being said, and bringing all of those things into play, like I said, if Cardi B in her particular situation came across somebody who was relatively wealthy, like NLE Choppa, and proceeded to prey on them, and in that situation, like I said, even though NLE Choppa is young and all other stuff, and he might not have wife or kids or anybody to answer to, he has a mother who also still has a very active hand in the things that he's doing and the way he moves and stuff like that. So NLE Choppa might not want that to come out or whatever. So like I said, even though he's underage and stuff like that, that might be looked at as negative towards Cardi B or the person who is preying on this artist or whoever the person is that is giving them this money making opportunity, like I said. But yeah, at that point they're preying on that person, and it's like there's two wrongs, like I said, don't make a right. So, but in this case, in a sense, you can almost say like two wrongs made a right. For one, the person in question, like I said, we're just using NLE Choppa as an example. NLE Choppa, actually, he's underage and all that other stuff, but he's getting worked over for his hard-earned money by a stripper, prostitute, etc., and either being drugged and tricked into, overswiping his credit card, debit card, etc., for their financial gain? Or is it that that person is preying on an underage just individual, and now they're not only are they a predator, but they are a pedophile on top of it? Now, like I said, but either one of these parties is not going to just openly tell on themselves because both of them are doing wrong. But in this case, if no one says anything, it becomes okay, or it becomes a right in that sense. Or, some people feel like it's a right. And at that point, that's when things just completely get skewed. And that's kind of like my whole issue that I talk about the English language and stuff like that. Like, there's so many different words to describe certain things that things can become so confused. Let me read this comment real quick. It says, there have been other famous people that have told their criminal past, but we are not labeling or asking for criminal charges, like Mark Wahlberg. What did Mark Wahlberg do? What did Marky Mark do? Now you've made me curious. Now I need to see what Marky Mark did. I don't recall what he's done, but that does not mean that he hasn't done anything. Like I said, just because I don't know about it. I mean, there's a lot of things I know. There's a lot of things I don't know. Like I said, I know who are we talking about yesterday? Jimmy Iovine and oh my gosh, I can't even remember her name. We was talking about her yesterday. The lead singer of that one group. Her name sounds like a male's name, but I can't even think of it right off the top of my head. Like I said, I was in the zone yesterday, and I was talking about a bunch of stuff that people were surprised that I actually know a little bit about. But yeah, it was well needed. Hoping my people on Instagram come back. I had quite a few people watching, but they're not there no more. They're not. It is cool. I still got y'all over here on Twitch. It's all good. I hope some of these people who are on Instagram came over here to Twitch. I do see more people here. I appreciate all of you. You and you and you and you. But yeah, we were looking at what Marky Mark did. Let's see. Mark Wahlberg. Let's see. Talk in the mic. You're fading in and out, my man. Um, uh, I'm sorry. It's this mic. It's not it's not the directional mic, so it doesn't actually pick up a whole bunch in different directions. I just have to kind of talk like directly into it. I apologize. But like I said, oh yeah, Marky Mark. Mark Wahlberg. Let's see. Speaking of Mark Wahlberg, just random note while I'm like thinking about him. He had this restaurant in was it West Hollywood or Hollywood? Unidirectional mic, yeah, one of those. I have an omnidirectional mic. I have a couple of different mics. Y'all know how my mics go. West Hollywood, I think, is shut down. That was what I was about to say about it. Is that it's shut down now? It was good though. That stuff was bomb. I loved Wahlburger. We should go up there and see if Wahlburger's there. Yeah, yes, sir. Well, criminal charges. Minnow. I think this is why I charged my other phone so, because it's so much easier to do this on the phone. Like, I have my third phone right here that I should have just been like, hey, Siri, look up Mark Wahlberg's D. But I didn't. Oh, and I remember this Siri is jacked up. I got to use one of these Siris. It's so good. I could have asked the computer. You know what? There's a lot of things that I could have did to pull up all this information, but I didn't do it. You want to know why? Because I'll be forgetting. It says Wahlberg. Now that I have it up though, and to the point, it took me a second. I apologize. Excuse me, you guys. I'm sorry. It did take me a second, but to that point, like I said, now we have it up. It says here, Wahlberg was charged with attempted murder, plead guilty to felony assault, and was sentenced to 2 years in jail, but served only 45 days of his sentence. Why is that he only served the 45 days? I need to see. Mark Wahlberg did some racist hate crimes. What? Come on, Marky Mark. So this is why yesterday we was talking about how cancel culture, because I'm surprised that Mark Wahlberg hasn't been canceled. But then again, to that point, there's been a long stint, definitely before Pain and Gain, that I had not seen Mark Wahlberg in a movie or anything. So he could have basically been canceled for a while. It says by the age of 13, he was addicted to cocaine and other substances, twice charged with hate crimes. Wow. On top of being charged for attempted murder. That's crazy. Mark Wahlberg, I'm not going to say we forgive you, but it is what it is. But anyway, like you're saying though, it was another person who, actually I think he was just addicted to drugs, was my man Tony Stark, aka Oh my gosh, aka Robert Downey Jr. It should be the other way around, but I don't care what you say. Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark first, Robert Downey Jr. second, and third is Sherlock Holmes. I don't care what you say. But yeah. But to the point of what we was actually talking about and all that other stuff. Like I said, these are people who have committed crimes and openly have, said that they committed these crimes in their past and haven't actually got convicted of them and stuff like that. So there's plenty of people and celebrities who, fall under this category. Granted, when I was bringing up this fact, I wasn't really saying it because we're looking for prosecution or anything of these people. Granted, we know and love these people for what they've done, even though we did or did not know what it is that, they have done in their past. But that all comes back to, like I said, in retrospect, it all comes back to, like what I was about to start talking about, which was the disconnect to the English language. What's up, Camille? Hey, day one. I have not seen you in a long time. Hope all is well. Appreciate you for coming and stopping in to the return almost on a daily basis. What's up, my man? What's up, my man? Malt Liquor Society. How are you doing? That's my man, Devin. He, one of my, friends out here in LA. Appreciate you for stopping in, my man. Appreciate that. But yeah, like I was saying, there's plenty of celebrities who we could hunt them down and prosecute them for whatever it is that they've done in their past, but honestly, there's no point. And to what we were talking about yesterday, I was just about to get into the toxicness of the English language. We'll get into that in a minute. I do have roughly 20 more minutes left of my show. Well, actually, it's more like 15. But like I said, we'll get into talking about that and everything. Well, I guess I'm going to just talk about it now because I forgot the point that I was just about to make. But it's cool. But like I said, the English language is super toxic. There's so many things that go understood or understood. Like I said, you understand most of it, but you don't understand everything. That's funny. Like I said, I literally just used the word understand in 3 different actual meanings, but it's the same exact word. And like I said, there's so much confusion with that and all type of stuff. I definitely did not drink coffee early enough this day or today because it's definitely got my mind scrambling, but it's cool because that's the whole point of, like I was talking about, the English language. I could literally say a sentence and each one of the people who are watching have their own interpretation of what it is that I'm saying, just due to the fact there's so many different meanings with so many different words. And that's honestly one of the main things that I hate. And to tie that back into everything, there's so many things to, like I said, explain the same exact thing. So if somebody were to explain one of these situations that we're talking about, all these celebrities and stuff like that, they can explain it to somebody and make it sound totally reasonable. Whereas, like I said, you can explain it to a police officer and he's going to try and poke holes in it as much as possible and make it sound so completely drawn out and blown out of proportion to the point where you don't even feel like, the 2 stories are the same, which in reality, they could be the same exact story, just use the different words, or like I said, person's understanding could be completely different. But it's a huge thing, and I hate it. Casey Affleck sex harassment in 2010. Is that Ben Affleck's daughter or his wife? Or I don't know who Casey Affleck is, but I do recognize the last name, of course. Let's see. Let's look up who Casey Affleck is real quick. Like I was saying, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. I hate to laugh after that. I always laugh when I speak on real things, and when I say that, because if it's real, or reality sets in and you start to think about how real something is, like I said, you either have to be able to laugh at it or you get mad at it. And ultimately, mad, sad, those things run hand in hand. Like I said, if you're sad about it, eventually after you get sad, you're going to be mad about it because there's nothing you can do about it that it made you sad. So, like I said, but yeah, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman. I think I remember the point where I was at before I started talking about the disconnect, the disconnect interpretation between what somebody can say or how broken the English language is, basically, in a nutshell. But I was going to say yesterday we talked about cancel culture, and with everything that I talked about, the beginning of the show about just changing the classification of pedophiles and stuff like that, like those are the things that you would think would get people canceled, or just the fact that they're committing these crimes and stuff like that. You would think, oh yeah, this person would easily get canceled, or they could easily, somebody's easily gonna not support them anymore, and that's not. Oh wow, I didn't know that Ben Affleck has a brother, and his brother's name is Casey. But to the point, like I was saying, cancel culture. Yesterday we was talking about how toxic cancel culture is. We talked about cancel culture in general. And to the point of like all the things we've talked about so far this morning, I'm surprised that some of these things don't get people canceled, or the fact that these people are so known and loved today that the things that they did in their past are not being brought up and getting them canceled. No, these are things that have happened a long time ago, and people normally know these things already, and it's not like it's new information. But one day somebody has to bring it up and points it out, and then gets that person canceled, or as we say, canceled, which is, it's just like being blackballed in the media and stuff like that. Like it's the same equivalence, and they've been doing this for years. But now we've at social media, they've actually been able to give it a real name, and we call it cancel culture or whatever you want to call it. But yeah. It's crazy, though, how some of these people get canceled, some of these people don't get canceled, or you get canceled temporarily for so long and everything, which is crazy. And to the point of what my dad was talking about with Casey Affleck and Ben Affleck, those are, honestly, I don't know I've never heard of Casey Affleck, but... Or, actually, you know what? Let me look up a picture of Casey Affleck to see if I even recognize him from any movies. Because there's so many movies you'll watch, and you don't even know who the name of the actor is. You see him. Oh, I've seen this guy. I didn't know that was Ben Affleck's brother. Wow, this guy? Come on, dude. It's funny because I see him in movies. He's like he acts like he's a British actor or whatever. He plays a lot of like pretentious parts and stuff like that. That's hilarious. And and he plays like rough, rugged looking people too. But yeah. He Casey Affleck should have been canceled. He definitely should have been canceled. Like I said, but he's one of those like white actors who gets those like predominant parts in movies. Like I said, I've seen him in a lot of stuff, and he definitely is. Here, let me move my chair around a little bit. We'll sit like this. Sit like that. Y'all can still see me. I'm looking at y'all, but I'm also looking at my computer screen. Yeah, but Casey Affleck definitely should have got canceled. Casey won an Academy Award after he was charged with sexual harassment. I think mommy was telling me about this when I was out there in Texas. She was telling me about how, it's normally like a thing with, like the Academy Awards and stuff like that. And they normally don't award people with awards who've been charged with like sexual harassment and stuff like that. But it's a big controversy about, I think this was the guy that she was talking about. I'm not 100% sure or remember everything that was talked about in the conversation, or who it was exactly she was talking about. But she was telling me about there was somebody who won an Academy Award. Basically, normally they blackball people who get charged with sexual harassment and stuff like that. And he actually did get charged with sexual harassment and still ended up winning an Academy Award a couple years later, or so on and so forth. And it's like causing a big uproar because, well, we all know how many black people get Academy Awards and stuff like that, or how easy it is for us, or how hard it is for us to get those awards and stuff like that. And so with, people like Casey Affleck getting awards and winning Academy Awards even after being, charged with sexual harassment and stuff like that, like I said, it's caused a big deal. Like I said, I think that was what she was telling me about. If not, here's a whole another person that we can put in that same list of people who've been charged with sexual harassment and still won an Academy Award. I wonder if I just typed that in, ask like Google. Actors with Academy Awards. How do I word this question exactly? Like, actors with Academy Awards and sexual harassment charges? I guess. I don't know. All I know is that if I look it up, I'm only going to use the best of search engines. And I'm only going to try to find the best information for all of the best people. Because you people, y'all are the best people out there. That's my Trump impression. I don't care. I know it's ugly. It's supposed to be. It's okay. Yeah. But yeah, I'm still trying to type this into my computer. Oh, that's why. Pedophiles with Grammys or Academy Awards. That's a good way to word the question. Casey should have been. Oh yeah, I read that already. Sexual harassment. Okay. So, all right. To take a quick second to break the attention from my computer screen and point it to you guys and just tell you what literally just happened to my computer. So, I still had my Google search on images, right? And you know how whenever you type in something, it's going to, come up with the images for whatever you typed in. No matter what you type in, you could type in some random thing like the color width, and it's going to come up with pictures for whatever the color width should look like or be, or whatever it be. So I just typed in like I told you guys, actors with Academy Awards and sexual harassment. And whenever still on images, you know what's the first thing that comes up? Or you know what the page is full of? Pictures of Casey Affleck. It's literally a page full of pictures of Casey Affleck. If you look up actors with Academy Awards is going to come up with a page full of pictures of Casey Affleck, which is hilarious. Here, I'm going to pull up my computer screen for 2 seconds so you can see it. It's hilarious. That's not my computer screen. Let me see. Why? Oh, that's why. I need it to be this page. Thank you. Okay, cool. Close that one. I need this here. No, not that one. That one. So put me. Actually. No, stop. Not me. Here. Whole screen. Okay. Sorry about that. It took me a second, but yeah. Boom. Nothing but Casey Affleck. Hilarious. Utterly hilarious. I'm so dead. It's nothing. Look. That's so funny. Nothing but pictures of Casey Affleck. And then we have a picture of Kevin Spacey. I forgot Kevin Spacey did get canceled, though. Kevin Spacey got canceled so fast. Now that I think about it, because y'all remember, Kevin Spacey was on that, one of the most predominant shows on Netflix at a time, which was, is it called House of Cards? Or something like that. That show where he's like trying to become the president, or he's trying to be the president, and him and his wife are like politicians or whatever. I think it is called House of Cards. But yeah, he was on that show and he was the main character and stuff like that. And I forgot exactly what Kevin Spacey did. I think it was something like y'all said, like pedophile or sexual harassment of some sort. And he definitely got canceled super fast. They took him off that show. His wife, they killed him on that show. Actually, now that I think about it, I think back, I didn't fully finish watching the show, but they canceled him on that show. They killed him. That's how fast he got canceled, which is hilarious. But yeah, we got my boy Leonardo DiCaprio. But it says amidst Harvey Weinstein scandal. So, I don't know. And then we have, who's this, the other Weinstein brother? If I'm not mistaken. Morgan Freeman. Really? Actually, I do think I did hear about something about Morgan Freeman and some sort of sexual harassment. We all know about Kobe. Kobe bought his way out of his, but that was a whole... I don't even... Wait, did they count Kobe's thing as sexual harassment, or he just had an affair? They just like, it was just a publicly known affair. Because I remember like parts of the story, like it was, they were talking about how the girl was like at his room and all this other some thief. I really don't care about it. R.I.P. Kobe the GOAT, one of the GOATs. Anyway, but yeah, it's funny though how we got so many white actors on this list, and Google and everything, like there's so many. There goes Ben Affleck. I remember Ben Affleck. I definitely know Ben Affleck has something against him. You know who else is another one though, other than Donald Trump? Ben Roethlisberger. I'm surprised Ben Roethlisberger hasn't gotten canceled, honestly. I guess he keeps throwing that football like he does, and he ain't never going to get canceled. Well, he's getting old. Aziz Ansari got canceled so hard, and he didn't even do much. He didn't even do anything. Matter of fact, we're going to go click on Aziz Ansari. It's funny because Jared was just telling me about Aziz Ansari yesterday. Like, I do recall him getting canceled. I didn't support his cancellation because I knew whatever Aziz had did, he probably didn't do it. Granted, if he really had did it, I would have looked into it a lot more. But like I said, I knew it was, I want to say propaganda or whatever, but that's not the word I'm looking for. But I knew it was all cap. Like I said, oh yeah, here, let's quickly read what Aziz Ansari supposedly did. It says, actor, comedian, self-proclaimed male feminist Aziz Ansari is the latest actor to face sexual assault allegations by a woman who claims the assault was by far the worst experience with a man I've ever had. First off, I don't think a sexual assault should be a good or positive experience with a man or woman. Just putting that out there. But it says Woman's Lifestyle Vertical Babe published an interview on late Saturday with a... I'm not the strongest reader in the world, so I'm not 100% sure on how you pronounce this word. I'm not going to try and butcher it. But yeah, 23-year-old woman named Grace, who alleges that Aziz sexually assaulted her on their first and final date when she was 22. I'd hope it'd be the final date, for one, if it's a sexual, if you're charging him with sexual harassment. If it was the first date, I hope that was the last date. I'm just saying. Like, I'm not judging, but I'm just saying. Like, common sense wise, anyway. But it says the publication was able to corroborate her claims by cross-referencing the phone number from which his text messages were sent to a public registry. Grace told the publication that after dinner, the couple went back to his place when he immediately started groping her. The details of the encounter are graphic, escalating from aggressive kissing to oral sex, which she says felt aggressively pressured into performing. Although she did not say no, Grace did not offer enthusiastic consent. See, like I said, the way that these words are played out, and like I said, the brokenness with the English language and all that stuff. I'm not gonna say all that good stuff because that's how I would normally phrase it, but yeah. And with all that stuff, like I said, the way the English language, our interpretation and understanding of it, this, just by what she said here, let me get it a little bit up. Just by this paragraph alone, the way it's explained, and just reading it, they said, I'll read it one more time, real quick. It says, Grace told the publication that after dinner, the couple went back to his place when he immediately started groping her. Like I said, right off the bat, that first sentence makes it seem like she willingly went to his apartment and did all this stuff. I said, just the interpretation of the way they put these words together makes it sound like Aziz Ansari is already not doing anything. But like I said, that's all open for interpretation because everybody can read this differently. Like I said, the tone in which I read it in paints a particular type of picture. And like I said, the English language, with that being a fact, we gotta obviously understand and know that the English language is a broken language and does not properly communicate what anybody is trying to get out there or explain, just with the but yeah, it doesn't get across what people are trying to say or explain, and it's all open for interpretation, unlike a lot of other languages that have particular words that are just for that particular thing, like and stuff like that. Like the Spanish language has tones and stuff like that to particular words to paint particular pictures so that people don't get confused or interpretate things in an off-putting manner or stuff like that, like I said. And that's one of the things about the English language, and just this paragraph alone has painted that picture for us. Like I said, I'm glad that I actually brought this up and started talking about Aziz Ansari, because this is a perfect example of what I was talking about the English language being broken. And like I said, how the we can easily turn people from looked at as a positive person to looked at as a negative person, and people use that information to try and cancel people and ruin people's careers. No, Aziz Ansari is a comedian first and foremost. You might see him on TV, you might see him in movies. No, you think about a movie, those people are most likely aren't getting, like we were talking about yesterday about publishing and and masters and rights and stuff like that to the publications of different things and stuff like that. Like I said, actors aren't the people who wrote the script, so they don't own the publication on the movie or getting any rights from that. Depending on their contract, they could get rights for every time the movie is played on television and stuff like that every time. But that's all if they're contracted in like that. But no, that means that person probably didn't collect a lump sum or a payout in the beginning, because a lot of people don't realize an actor is just like any old contract worker. An actor either gets a contract at the beginning, so if the movie does this good or this bad, like you can get, you'll get this percentage of the money of the movie or whatever, or you could just get just bought out for the movie. Say the movie, we're like, okay, we have a $100 million budget, which is realistic for movies nowadays. We have $100 million budget. We're gonna pay Will Smith $20 million just to be in the movie. No, Will Smith normally probably always takes a lump sum and gets written into some sort of executive producer or some sort of rights in whatever movie he is in. That's why, if you notice, when Will Smith's in a movie, it's predominantly a Will Smith movie, because he's taking over every facet and form of the movie, like I said. But back to the point I was pointing out. Actors are contracted workers. No, Aziz Ansari is a comedian. So being a comedian, you get paid to do like your stand-ups. You might get paid by that club, each club you're going to do it in, or if it's like a tour, you might get paid, like I said, contracted for a lump sum or a percentage of the admissions and stuff like that. But there's a lot that goes into paying these people, and it's not as straightforward as some of us might think. Like I said, like a lot of us go to work a 9 to 5, and we get paid for the hours that we're at work. Note, an actor is not getting paid an hourly wage. Even if they were getting paid an hourly wage, say it takes them a year to do this movie, right? And even if they were getting paid $20, $30, $100 an hour, times however many hours in the day that they're working there. Sometimes they work 12-hour days, so on and so forth. Like I said, it wouldn't calculate right, and it wouldn't add up. It just wouldn't add up. And these people would not be able to be the public figures that we see them as. And there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot that goes into it. But back to getting canceled and being claimed as like a pedophile or a rapist or stuff like that. Like I said, whenever stuff like this comes out, and the fact that the English language is so broken that somebody's words can get misinterpreted and people can get the wrong view of somebody, and just from that piece of information come out, it can easily get somebody canceled, which can slow up their profit streams and things like that, things that they have money in. People will start to boycott those things and not use those services and so on and so forth. Like I said, ultimately ruining somebody's life just off of hearsay. Sometimes it's true. Like I said, there's plenty of people who gotten canceled for legitimate things, but there's plenty of people who get canceled for things that they've done in their past that aren't even relevant to today and stuff like that. Of course, when it comes to talking about things like rape and stuff like that, those are things that have victims and people who are currently dealing and dwelling with that issue, even though it happened years ago. So that's a different conversation when it comes to this. But ultimately, like I said, my last topic that I was really talking about is how broken the English language is, and how something as simple as the explanation of what happened, like I said, even in this sentence, like I said, the last sentence says that although she did not say no, so it says that she didn't say no. It says Grace did not offer enthusiastic consent. Saying that is not saying that she didn't consent and interacting with Aziz Ansari, but she did not. She was not super happy about the interaction that was going on. And just from that, like I said, a police officer can take that and say, so you didn't want this to happen. Well, I mean, part of it you can take in the fact that she went to his house willingly, and there was parts of it that she did do willingly. And like I said, all of this is open for interpretation, and depending on who the person is, can view it as one way or view it as another. And honestly, that's where the English language is broken, and that's why we don't get justice for people who are truthfully rape victims and stuff like that. Like, nobody takes a lot of what they say serious sometimes, or just for the simple fact there's so many people who also get falsely accused of rape and stuff like that. And it's all due to the fact that the English language is broken. It's broken. It's not a positive and easily used way to communicate. We're trying to communicate stuff to people and let them know information and get it across to them. We always have to pick and choose our words to make sure that the message is getting across clear. And that's one of the things I find very hard, especially with doing my show and doing this live for you guys, and just picking the words off my mind or out of my brain and trying to formulate sentences so that they come across pretty straightforward and not too open for misinterpretation. Because the last thing I don't want to be is misinterpreted, or my message not to be clear to other people. And like I said, I know I jump around a lot, which makes it very hard to follow sometimes. That's why I try to recap, or even if at the end of my show I take a good another 20 minutes to re-explain everything we talked about and try to sum it up in that 20 minutes, and I know I go in a circle at that point, but I'm still trying to get it across, like I said. And that's one of the main things that I deal with, and that's why it's an issue for me, and that's why I wanted to bring it up today. I'm trying to split all my days in half and do half and half segments, but also bring those two segments together. So that's what I was ultimately trying to do today, with the talking about the classification of pedophiles being changed from pedophilia to adult attracted to a child, and explaining how and why the advocates for this change, what they really had planned for it, and not, like I said, not get it misinterpreted why they made this change. Because like I said, English language is broken. If they just literally put out a statement saying pedophiles change from pedophiles to attracted to children, like I said, that statement is so vague that it can be open for interpretation, and people can ultimately look at that and think that they're just trying to make it so pedophiles are out here just raping children willy-nilly, or openly trying to become in relationships with children, because children are very influential, and it's easy to manipulate a child into doing something because they're not as knowledgeable in worldly things and stuff like that. So they're easily manipulated. But like I said, in that point of trying to get across a message or tell people information and so on and so forth, the English language is ultimately broken, and we need to actively think about what it is we're doing, what it is we're saying, and try and fix it and rectify it, or at least sit down and understand one another enough to figure out what it is that that person's trying to say. It's funny because amongst me and my brothers and stuff like that and sisters, we try to have this form of nonverbal communication, whereas you can almost predict what the person's going to say before they say it. So this way you have a full-on understanding of where they're coming from. Granted, the people that I have this type of understanding with, I thought I had a almost 100% understanding of in this last year of sitting at home a lot and just being able to talk to them, not on a visual, physical, face-to-face standpoint, but over the phone, over the internet and stuff like that. You hear people's opinions, and like I said, it's ultimately just up for interpretation because you can't see their facial expression, so you can't see the tone that they're setting with their face and all those things. So like I said, a lot of things get lost in translation, and I'm starting to realize that we didn't have a full-on understanding of each other that I thought we have, but over the time of talking and constantly talking, we've grown together and got a better understanding of one another and where it is that we're coming from. And when a situation happens, instead of getting all angry and riled up all the time, sometimes we'll take a second and we'll be like, wait, you know what? Okay, I understand this. I want to stop, acknowledge that I do acknowledge this point that you pointed out. But on top of that, I also see this, and this. Or I also have come to the understanding that this, and this will still be present even with what you have said, or so on and so forth. Like I said, that all just comes from knowing the people you're talking to and understanding where their understanding is coming from. Like I said, I try to use my ability to understand different people's perspective so that I can explain it to others and so on and so forth. But like I said, I've ran over time again today. This is like the third day in a row. But with that, I'm still not changing my show from longer than an hour. I'm going to keep it at an hour and everything. But before I go, as always, let's go back to full screen. We don't need to have this up here anymore. So let's go ahead and drop that out. You can get me full on for the next 2 minutes or so while we close out the show. But yeah. So, like I was saying, point blank period, English language is broken. Try to know the people you're speaking to so you can understand what they're saying and where they're coming from. Ultimately, people should not have relationships with children. Point blank period. That is wrong. It's against the law. It's still pedophilia, and you're still a pedophile. Like I said, if you're somebody who knows you're having those thoughts and wants to rectify the situation and realize that you are a adult attracted to children, they are creating avenues for you to get help and become better so you don't ever act on those feelings. And so on. Like I said, ultimately we need to take the time to understand one another so that we don't ever have this level of confusion that is put in place now or set up now that we are getting to a place where, like I said, we're all trapped in our houses due to COVID and stuff like that. Because if you think about it, all this COVID stuff, like I said, if we had a solid understanding of what we needed to do, straightforward explanation of what's going on, then it wouldn't be open for interpretation, and people could literally be like, oh, okay, this is what we need to do. We'll do this, have it set in place. Once it's done, we've rectified the situation, and now we can move on from it. But like I said, with everything that's going on, the vagueness of the English language, the vagueness of the things that are said by our president, and so on and so forth, that's why we're still in the situation. So ultimately, just take the time to understand what somebody is saying to you and realize the English language is broken. You can only do your part to fix it, and so on. But to that point, like I said, the only way to invoke change is if we get out there and vote, you guys. All we got to do is just get out there and vote. Vote, 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 vote. If you get out there and vote, then you can make a change. I can't say that enough. Some days I do forget to mention to tell you guys to vote. But honestly, I need to every single day point it out. Even if, nobody watches my video or whatever, if it's out there and I'm doing this every single day and I'm telling you to vote, just like I'm telling you to like, share, comment, and subscribe, I feel like there's going to be maybe one or two people that will at least see and hear what I have to say, agree, not agree, agree to disagree, so on and so forth, and maybe it might get them to vote or get you to vote. Whatever I have to do, I appreciate you guys for coming. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, share, follow. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, all those platforms. Just go there. If you have an account already, go ahead and follow me, like my videos, subscribe to me, hit that notification bell if you're over on YouTube, all that type of stuff. Do what you can to help me get to 100 likes / follows on Facebook, and we're trying to get to that 50 followers over on Twitch. Like I said, if I get there, I'm going to get my new badge so I can ultimately reach out to a lot more people. I am Jay for the dub. This has been The Return. I appreciate everybody for stopping out today. We are out for the day and hope to see you again tomorrow.
Whoa. God. Yeah. Gold frames. Switch lanes. Batman. Bruce Wayne. And I was like, feeling like I'm Bruce Wayne. Young spit the words hot like two flames. Front night ain't really how we do things. Niggas ain't got time for all of the mood swings. Oh Lord, he done been here before. Know the city so it can take you on a tour. Money so big, can buy any store. If you want more, supply you some more. Take you on a trip, leave your bags at the door. Said that she left them well, not anymore. Fuck a nigga floating on so high that I saw. Ain't shit new, man, it seem make me bored. Make a king mad, be surprised when he roar. Can a young nigga make money anymore? Throw the money up, watch the money hit the floor.